Welcome back, students. So let us continue the story of this chapter, The Sermon at Benares, written by Betty Renshaw. In the previous video module, we have discussed about the author Betty Renshaw and background of this chapter. So now, actually this chapter is about the early life of Gautam Buddha, and later on, actually what happened by which his life totally changed, took a turn. So let us continue. Gautam Buddha, the lifespan is given 563 BC to 483 BC, it means before Christ. He began life as a prince. Gautam Buddha, he began his life as a prince named Siddhartha Gautama. That his childhood name, that is Siddhartha Gautama, that he began, and he was a prince. Am I clear? He was a prince as a Siddhartha Gautama. And in northern India, especially in north part of India, northern India, that he was born, his childhood. So at the age of 12, what happened then? At the age of 12, he was sent for schooling, where in the Hindu sacred scriptures, at the age of 12, in the Hindu sacred means here pious, P-I-O-U-S, pious, holy. In the Hindu sacred scriptures to study that content that he had been sent. 4 years later, that he returned to his home. For what? To marry a princess. 4 years later, at the age of 12, he was sent for schooling in the Hindu sacred scriptures, and 4 years later, that he returned to marry a princess. So later on, and they had a son. See now, the man who became a saint in his life later on, if we look at his childhood, that he was a prince, plus he lived a wealthy life, comfortable life. He had a son, and then for 10 years, continuously for 10 years, that he lived as befitted royalty. Befitted royalty means a happy life that he lived for 10 years. Who? Gautam Buddha. It means Siddhartha Gautama, that he lived. Befitted royalty means happy life, because he belongs to the royal family. So that is why. So then, at the age of 25, what happened at the age of 25? That heretofore, the word is given heretofore, later on, shielded from the sufferings of the world. Totally that he was disturbed, that he was moved, melted from the sufferings of the world. So one day what happened? While he was out for hunting, who? Siddhartha Gautama. While he was out for hunting, that he chanced upon, the same word is given, that he chanced upon. Chanced upon means he came across. The same word is given, chanced upon. It means came across. To whom? That he came across a sick man. See now, because of this picture or the scene, his life totally changed later on. What was the picture? While one day he was out for the hunting, that he chanced upon, it means he came upon, to whom? A sick man. This is the first one. A sick man. Later on, an aged man. This is the second one. Then a funeral procession. Funeral, do you know, after death? Funeral procession. And finally, then he came across a monk begging for alms. Am I clear? A monk begging for alms. So he chanced upon, he saw this scene or the pictures, these pictures that he came across there. Who? Gautam Buddha or Siddhartha Gautama. First, a sick man, then an aged man, later on a funeral procession, and finally a monk begging for alms. So these sights, what happened, that these sights moved him, that he was totally moved by these sights, Gautam Buddha or Siddhartha Gautama. And so that is why, as a result of that, at once what he did, that he went out into the world, because he had come across these sights: a sick man, an aged man, a funeral procession, and a monk begging for alms. After having these sights, that at once he went out into the world for what? To seek enlightenment. What is the meaning of this word enlightenment? Enlightenment means spiritual knowledge. He wanted to seek enlightenment, or especially concerning the sorrows which he had witnessed. Which sorrows? That these sorrows that he had witnessed: a sick man, an aged man, then later on a funeral procession, and a monk begging for alms. So he went out into the world to seek enlightenment concerning the sorrow which he had witnessed. He wanted to find out the truth or the reality. So that is why he went out into the world. So what happened? Then he wandered for 7 years. 7 years that he wandered, just like a monk, saint, that he wandered, and finally after 7 years he sat under a peepal tree. Am I clear? He sat, who? Siddhartha Gautama, that he sat under a peepal tree where he vowed. Vowed means V-O-W-E-D. It means, vowed means here promised, where he ought to stay until enlightenment came, under a peepal tree. So Gautam Buddha or Siddhartha Gautama, he enlightened after 7 days. He was sitting, or he sat under a peepal tree, and he ought to stay there until enlightenment came. After 7 days, that he was enlightened, and then he renamed that tree as a Bodhi tree. Under a peepal tree that he sat, and he enlightened there. Enlightened means got spiritual knowledge, and he named that tree as a Bodhi tree, as the Bodhi tree. It means, Bodhi tree means, meaning is the tree of wisdom, W-I-S-D-O-M, the tree of wisdom. That he named that tree Bodhi tree, and the reason is, what is the meaning of that Bodhi tree? It means the tree of wisdom. And then what happened? And he began to teach and share what his new understanding then, that spiritual knowledge that he began to teach to the people and share. So now in this way, this is the first part of this chapter, the sermon at Benares. Clear? So now the next part, that we will continue in the next video module. Thank you.